Are you afraid of change? Do you find change scary? Do you believe that you can change? Do you believe that you were born this way and that what you are or who your identity is set in stone? Well, this is far from the truth. Who you are is learned. It's a product of your environment. And saying that you can change is effectively saying that you won't change. You're literally saying to yourself or to others, I refuse to change my toxic behaviors, even if it hurts you. That's selfish. We're here to change. We're here to evolve. And remember, if you say you can't, you're actually just refusing, because everyone can and everyone holds the power to change their lives. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialize in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. I've heard it so many times. I've probably said it myself a lot of times. I can change. I won't change. This is who I am. I was born this way. You know what I mean? It's like I was born into this family. I was born with these traits. See, we're not born with these traits. We're not. We're not born with toxic traits. We're not born assholes. We actually we inherit the environment that we're in. Effectively, we learn the traits from our environment. So you grow up learning and adopting another person's toxic behavior, and you might be triggered by the word toxic behavior. We all have toxic behavior. We all have toxic traits, and we're here to evolve out of them and to unlearn them. When you're in environments that aren't for you, when you we have no choice. We grow up in an environment, whether there is violence, aggression, alcoholism, whatever it was that was in that environment, abandonment, whatever. We are a product of that, but we do not have to continue to identify with it. So when you get into later life and you're like, oh, it's impossible to change, nothing's ever going to change, I'm not going to change. That's refusal. That's literally saying, I know I have the power. Like this is, I suppose we don't know we have the power. Actually, there was somebody who I put up a post on Facebook, and I think it was something to do with change, and somebody commented, we don't have the power to change. The universe has only the universe can change us. We can't change ourselves. Change is a choice. And literally it's a choice. The universe can't change you. Nothing outside of you can change you. Yes, it can be a guide. Your shitty circumstances can wake you up to the fact that you need to change your life. But sitting there and saying, this is wrong or this is wrong and I need to change it, but I can't change it, is refusal. Because the only one with the power to change their lives is you. And that's a fact. Like, you're literally saying, my life is shit. Everything around me is shit. It's falling apart. It's the same shit over and over again. I keep attracting the same people, or I keep going down the same patterns over and over again. But I can't change that. Yes, you can. You're literally saying, like, oh, you're actively saying, I won't. You're not saying I can. Like, you think you can't, but what you're saying is you won't. You actually have a choice every day to change your life. You have that choice. And this is it. Like, and don't get me wrong. Back when I was still healing and I was told it was my choice to be with my ex, I got very angry with that. And I was like, actually, no, it wasn't my choice to be with my ex. It was my trauma's fucking choice. Do you know what I mean? But it was still a choice at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And like, I can choose to still live through my trauma and choose to remain in an unhealed energy, or I can choose today to transform that. And this is what active inner healing is about. It's about choosing yourself every day. It's about choosing to become a better version of yourself. And that's what it is. Like, there's this thing of like, people are, I will never change for anyone. I get into a relationship and somebody's like going to change me. I'm not changing for you. This is selfish. You're literally saying, you mean nothing to me. I'm going to continue to be toxic. If I hurt you, who gives a shit? But I'm just going to stay as a shitty little person and not evolve. That's what you're saying. Whereas what you do, you don't change for someone, you evolve with them. And you turn around and you say, you know what? That person deserves better. Actually, you know what? I deserve better. So I'm going to change and I'm going to evolve. I'm choosing to become the best version of myself. If you can sit there today and say to yourself, I do really well and I'm so kind to everyone and I'm not toxic and I don't hurt people, or my life doesn't feel like a repeated cycle, or bad luck just keeps coming to more. If you're just saying to yourself, this is how life is and there's no way out of it. That's living with this blinkers on, with this, you know, it's an unawareness. And don't get me wrong, I understand what that's like. I lived in that energy. I lived in this repetitive cycles, repeating the same shit over and over again, attracting the same relationships, attracting the same abuse, all of it. And I really did believe, well, this is the thing, it's not like you believe what you've been taught. So you have literally learned everything you know from the people around you, right? And you get to a stage, this is the thing, you get to a stage, for me personally, it's a wake up. It's a call to action. It's that shake up, wake up. It's literally your life goes to fucking shit more than once before you actually listen. And every time your life goes to shit, or every time something goes wrong, or, you know, there's turbulence, you're like literally going, oh, sure, look, you know, this is what happens. This is what life is. That who gives a shit? But when you're actually slapped in the face over and over and over and over again, you finally say to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I can't live in that conditioned way. I can't live in that false identity. I can't live behind a mask that's not really me. And that's the moment you literally go, evolve or repeat. You know what I mean? And like, I remember sitting in front of Tony and Dean. I was watching a live event, and I was in the worst place of my life. I was after relapsing, and I'd gone to shit. Like all my awakening tools had gone out the window. I was literally at nothing, and I had to walk away from so many people. And I was watching Dean and Tony, and I was crying at the television, or the laptop, crying, literally going, my life is fucked, right? And they said, what do you want to do? Do you want to get to 6 months from now and look back and see that nothing has changed? And that was my truest wake-up call, to literally say, I can sit here crying right now, and I can come back in 6 months' time and still be fucking in pain and crying, or I can do something about it. And that was the moment I really started to transform my life. And that's what I did. But I realized it was my choice, you know, and I know what it's like to be in the depths of depression and anxiety and pain and trauma. I know what that's like. And I know what it's like to feel like you're trapped and you've got no way out. And it doesn't even have to be as deep as depression and trauma. You know, you could feel like you're trapped in an environment or a world that you don't belong in. But you can't evolve out of it because your parents or your community, your friends would all think you're a little bit crazy, you know, for using your own brain. Ooh, that makes us crazy, does it? Do you know what I mean? And like, you're literally, this is it, like you're sitting there going, I can't change because everyone around me is the same, and if I'm different, I'm going to be ridiculed. I can't change because this is just who I am. I was born this way. Like, for me personally, if I was to say I was born this way, right, my previous identity, alcoholism, aggression, violence, anger, like, is that my identity? It was for a very long fucking time. I was like, oh, I inherited the cleary anger, so that's what's wrong with me. But I can sit here and say today, oh yeah, I'm going to continue to identify as my parents or as my environment, or I can change that fucking behavior. And I changed it. I no longer identify as a toxic effectively a toxic masculine, because I learned toxic masculine traits. I grew up, you know, doing toxic masculine things. I grew up very in my masculine energy. Do you know what I mean? And like, I never lived as my feminine self. You know, obviously we have to balance our masculine and feminine, and it has to be, you know, an even bit of both. But I was completely unfeminine. Completely. And it used to anger me to be compared to the girls. Like, it was like, don't you dare call me one of them. It was that bad, that I was so in my toxic masculine energy that I didn't think I could change. You know, I was always identifying as one of the boys, and it was just like, I'm not going to change. But still, my behavior was fucking toxic. You know what I mean? And I hate using that word so much, but like, you know, if you're doing things that aren't healthy, that's toxic. You know, there's one or the other. You're either healthy behavior, healthy mindset, or toxic fucking mindset. And a lot of us have grown up in toxic environments. And toxic environments can be anything from parental neglect any kind of aggression or violence in the household, substance abuse, physical abandonment, all these kinds of things can lead to learned toxic behavior. And I could say, like, there's the three C's. It's like, make the choice to take a chance or nothing will ever change. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you have to make the choice to take a chance on yourself, to change your life, or it's not going to evolve. And you know, one thing I really realized about this whole, like the person who said the universe makes you change, the universe doesn't make you change. The universe encourages you to change and pushes you to change. So for example, you make a wrong decision, you choose the wrong path, and the universe is going to make that very, very uncomfortable to try and wake you up out of that. And this is the thing, like, you know, I was choosing things back in the past that I identified with. So I chose the wrong relationship because I felt unworthy or what have you. So I chose this and I chose this. And every time I chose it, I never really saw the familiarity or the repeated pattern. So I didn't know that I could potentially change it. So when I started to see a pattern and started to see that I was attracting the same toxic energy, then I was able to wake up to the change that I could do. But what I've noticed is, if you have to change, or which we are, or we have to change, we're here to evolve. If you're being encouraged to change, but you're not listening to the little signs and synchronicities, the universe is going, this is your path, this is what you say yes to, even if it looks different, and even if everyone is going to shun you for it, this is what you're supposed to do. And then you say to yourself, no, I can't change, I can't do this. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to be the same as I always was. And you know what you're going to do then? You're going to, like, for example, if you're on a destined path with a relationship, for example, and you don't choose the person that you're supposed to choose, right? And then you go and choose someone else because it's easier, right? Then you're literally going to end up attracting the same kind of controlling, toxic person that you attracted in the past. And if you don't listen early, this happened to me. Like, you know, when I went through a narcissistic relationship, then a year and a half, then I ended up, you know, thinking I was healed, and I ended up attracting a 2-month connection that was extremely narcissistic as well. And literally the whole way through that 2 months, I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. But I wasn't listening. And it was like, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. I'm not listening to my truth. I'm not listening. This is the thing. We don't listen to ourselves. We don't listen to our bodies. We just do everything. It's like, if I say yes to this person, or if I continue dating this person, or if I continue working this job, or whatever it is, that's okay because everyone else is happy. But sure, I don't have to be happy. And your body is literally kind of going, change. So you have to change. Your body is getting uncomfortable. You know, you're getting aches and pains. Like your digestion is all over the place. Like, you know, you feel sick all the time because you're in the wrong energy. And if you don't listen, it took me 2 months of red flags and then massive fucking sirens, them to turn into sirens for me to realize, shit, I'm repeating another pattern. I've attracted another toxic person. And what I have seen with people, if you don't fucking listen, not only have you just attracted the same thing you've attracted before, it's going to get worse. And then you're going to get fucking trapped. That's what I've seen. So if you continue not to listen to the guidance to change, to evolve, and if you continue to repeat your old toxic cycles, the shit is going to hit the fan. And you will end up trapped in a world that you don't want to be in. And I've noticed that. I have noticed that so much because, you know, when you're not quite aware and you're not, because I've been doing this myself. You know, we can go through life and we can, like, you know, your unconscious mind hides stuff from you. So, like, for me personally, what I needed to do was speak to my unconscious mind as a separate entity, because what I found was my body would react to things that my mind was ignoring. So, you know, for example, years ago when my ex nearly died after we broke up, I blamed myself. But I didn't know I blamed myself because initially I was like, I don't give a fuck, he's an asshole. But my body reacted as if I cared. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I do not care. So that's when I started to talk to my unconscious mind, and I was like, I felt guilty for him nearly dying because I wished him such harm after what he did to me. So I had to forgive him in order to release myself from that guilt. But that was when I first realized, okay, you have to ask yourself questions. How does this make me feel? Am I in the right, like, this is why it's so important to get into conscious relationships or conscious careers or conscious anything, you know, when you do change, you have to listen. Because like even over the last weekend, the weekend just gone, I've been thinking about like how my body has been reacting to things that I haven't been processing. And I'm like, oh, I'm still in denial. And this is what happens. You could end up in situations that you really don't feel comfortable in. Your body is screaming. Your body is saying, get the fuck out, this is not comfortable. And your mind is going, it's fine. Do you know, it's fine. Do you know, this is what life is. It's fine. Do you know, and you're not consciously aware. So you're not actually listening to your body. Do you feel comfortable in this situation? Are you repeating another pattern? Are you evolving or fucking repeating? Ask yourself this, because this is your choice. You have a choice, right? We come here, you know, lifetime after lifetime, to fix the fucking shit that we went through before, right? And this generation, we're getting the chance to truly evolve and awaken, so we don't have to come back into fucking Earth and do the same shit again. You know, you're literally getting a choice. You get the choice. Do I evolve or do I repeat? Do I say I can't change, or do I say I fucking will change? And this is it. The power is in your hands. And the power is only in your hands. And this is the thing. You think you're powerless to change. The only way you become powerless is if you don't change. And you end up stuck in another cycle that controls you. And that changes you into something that you're not. Or keeps you as something that you're not. Because you're obviously living a life continuously as somebody you're not. In an environment that you don't belong in. And your refusal to change is literally saying, I'm going to stay stuck. I'm going to stay miserable. I'm going to stay listening to the moan and groan society and talk about the same miserable stuff all the time. No, I'm not going to open my mind to the universe and to myself. I'm not going to discover who I am. And I'm going to let somebody else tell me who I am. Because that's what you're doing. You're literally in a relationship, an environment, a community that's telling you who you should be. And you're sitting there going, that's all right because I can't change. I was born this way. And that to me is the saddest thing I ever see. Because like, you know, there's this quotes like, the saddest thing in life is not to die. It's to not live while you're alive, or something like that. And that's effectively it. Because like your refusal to change or to evolve with your change or to transform with change is literally not living your life, but existing in a life that's not even yours. You're sitting on the sidelines, allowing your past beliefs to keep you stuck in something that could end up ruining your fucking life. Because if you, like, that's what it is. Like, I had to have many terror moments when I made the wrong decisions in the past, when I wasn't listening, when I wasn't aware. And I've had the worst things happen to me because I didn't listen to that change or listen to the need to change. And that's what breaks my heart about other people. It's like you're keeping, I know it's hard, but like you're keeping yourself stuck in an environment that's not for you. You're keeping yourself in a continuous cycle of bad luck and toxic environments because you just think that you're powerless and that you're trapped and that you're stuck in this, and you're not. And I know what it's like to be in the energy of I'm trapped. I was there. I was unaware. I was tower after tower after tower. The shit really hit the fan. And then the shit hit the fan again and again and again and again until I stood back and I said, no more. The only person that's coming to save me is me. And the only person to come to save you is you. You have the choice. Evolve or repeat. And I've done this kind of video over and over again because I still see people so conditioned into believing that they don't have the power, that they're stuck in these environments, and they're not listen to your body. Ask yourself questions every day. How does this make me feel? How does this connection make me feel? How does this relationship make me feel? How does this job make me feel? How does this energy make me feel? Because if that energy isn't in alignment with you, it's going to feel turbulent. It's going to feel off. And that's the nudge from the universe to say, please change now. And if you don't change now, then it will get louder and louder and louder, where something really bad will happen, where you're forced to change or completely forced to stay stuck. Like, ask yourself, is this really what you want? Is this really what you want for now, for your future? For the rest of your life? Or do you want change? Do you want something different? Do you want to feel good in yourself? Do you want fulfillment and purpose? Do you want to become the best version of yourself? Or do you want to stay the same? Because as I said, if you say you can't, you're literally saying you won't. Because it's a choice that you have, and you're the only one who can make it. No one can change for you. Only you can change yourself. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today. I'd love to make more than to help in your path. Also, I have another channel called Aligning with Angie, where I share a guided meditation every week. The info for that is in the description box. I also have a Healing After Narcissistic Abuse course for sale. That's also in the description box. And I have a 90-minute Forgiving Your Teenage Self workshop coming up in September. How to heal shame, self-judgment, stuff, things around that, any kind of residues from our teenage years. So this would be a nice workshop where we will work through things. Would be hypnosis and everything like that there as well. So if you want information for that, please comment below, or there is a post in my community post.